First contact and reluctant partnership. Commander Maya Chen stood at attention in the gleaming command center of Earth Defense Force headquarters, trying to hide her irritation. After 5 years of leading combat missions against the Korthan raiders, she was being reassigned to babysitting duty. "With all due respect, Admiral," she said, keeping her voice steady, "I'm a combat specialist, not a diplomatic escort." Admiral Harrison's weathered face remained impassive as he gestured to the holographic display between them. A crystalline being materialized in the projection, its faceted surface refracting light in impossible patterns. "This is Krith, an emissary from the crystalline collective of Andromeda," Harrison explained. "Their technology is centuries ahead of ours, Commander. This escort mission could mean the difference between Earth becoming a galactic power or remaining a backwater outpost." Maya studied the hologram, noting the alien's geometric beauty. "Why me?" "Because if anything goes wrong, you're our best shot at keeping both the emissary and our chances at an alliance alive." The door slid open with a soft hiss, and Maya's breath caught in her throat. The hologram hadn't done Krith justice. The crystalline being stood nearly 7 feet tall, its translucent body catching and splitting light into rainbow cascades. Within its core, patterns of energy pulsed like a heartbeat. "Commander Chen," Krith's voice resonated directly in her mind, carrying unmistakable disdain. "My species has observed humans for centuries. You are unpredictable, violent, emotional." Maya straightened her spine. "And yet here you are, requesting our help. Necessity makes for strange companions." Krith's inner light flickered. "I require transport to the Galactic Council. Your species' reputation for surviving impossible odds makes you, unfortunately, useful." Admiral Harrison cleared his throat. "Commander Chen will escort you aboard the Starweaver. It's our newest stealth vessel, equipped with primitive technology," Krith interrupted. "But it will suffice." Maya felt her jaw tighten. This was going to be a long mission. Within hours, they were aboard the Starweaver, breaking orbit. Maya sat in the pilot's chair, running pre-jump diagnostics while Krith hovered nearby, its crystalline form casting prismatic patterns across the bridge. "Your ship's shielding is inadequate," Krith observed. "The energy matrix is unstable." "Our shields have held against Korthan plasma cannons," Maya replied, not looking up from her console. "They'll get us to the council." "The Korthans," Krith's mental voice carried a note of amusement. "You speak of children playing with toys. You have no concept of the real threats that lurk between galaxies." Maya spun her chair around. "Then enlighten me. What exactly are we up against?" Krith's form dimmed slightly. "There are forces that would prefer the crystalline collective, and humanity never form an alliance. Forces that have existed since before your species learned to make fire. And they're hunting you." "Us," Krith corrected. "They're hunting us. The moment I stepped aboard this ship, our fates became intertwined." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. "You could have mentioned this before we left Earth. Would it have changed your decision to accept this mission?" "No," Maya admitted. "But I prefer knowing what I'm up against." "Then know this, Commander Chen. If we fail to reach the Council, both our species will face extinction within a solar cycle." Maya watched as stars streaked past the viewport, considering Krith's words. Why choose us? Why not ask one of the more advanced species for help? Krith's crystalline surface rippled, an expression Maya couldn't interpret. "Because humanity has something the others lack. You embrace chaos. You thrive on it. Where other species see impossibility, humans see opportunity." "Now who's being emotional?" Maya allowed herself a small smile. "Perhaps," Krith conceded, "your species' influence is already affecting my judgment." A warning klaxon shattered the moment. Maya's hands flew across the controls as multiple contacts appeared on the sensor display. "We've got company," she announced, already plotting evasive maneuvers. 3 ships coming out of FTL. Krith's form pulsed with urgent light. "The Void Harbingers. They've found us sooner than expected. Maya's fingers danced across the tactical display. Those ships don't match any known configurations in our database. They predate your database by millions of years. Krith's mental voice was tight with tension. Conventional weapons will be useless against their quantum shields. Maya grinned, the familiar rush of combat flooding her system. Good thing I don't believe in conventional approaches. She disabled the safety protocols and diverted power from life support to the engines. The Starweaver responded instantly, its experimental drive core humming with dangerous energy. "What are you doing?" Krith demanded. "Embracing chaos," Maya replied, as she aimed their ship directly at the heart of the enemy formation. "Hold on to something. Trust falls through space." The Starweaver shot through space like a bullet, its experimental engine screaming in protest. Maya's hands were steady on the controls as she guided them straight toward the enemy formation. "Your actions are illogical." Krith's mental voice vibrated with alarm. "Their quantum shields can't be penetrated by conventional weapons," Maya finished. "But what about their own weapons?" Understanding flickered through Krith's crystalline form. "You intend to force them to fire on each other." Maya yanked the controls hard, sending the Starweaver into a spiral between two of the ancient vessels. Energy beams meant for her ship struck their companion instead, creating a cascade of quantum disruptions. "Impossible," Krith whispered as one of the enemy ships exploded. "Their targeting systems should have compensated." "Should have," Maya agreed, sweat beading on her forehead as she pushed the ship harder. "But they're millions of years old. They've never faced human unpredictability." The remaining ships adjusted their formation, their black hulls absorbing all light. Maya felt Krith's presence beside her intensify. "They're charging their primary weapons, the crystalline being mourned. Even your unusual tactics won't survive a direct hit." Maya's eyes narrowed. "Then it's time for Plan B. Can your species interface with technology?" "Yes, but..." "Good. I need you to sync with the ship's systems. When I give the signal, dump all power to the forward shields." Krith hesitated for a fraction of a second before extending crystalline tendrils into the ship's control panel. "This plan of yours, probably suicide," Maya admitted, programming a series of commands into the navigation computer. "But definitely interesting." The enemy ships fired simultaneously, their combined beam powerful enough to vaporize a small moon. Maya waited until the last possible moment before shouting, "Now." Krith channeled energy through its crystalline structure, supercharging the Starweaver's shields. The enemy beam struck them head-on, and reflected. "That's impossible," Krith exclaimed as the reflected energy tore through one of the remaining ships. "Our shields shouldn't be capable of." "I reversed the polarity and used your crystalline structure as an amplifier," Maya explained, already plotting their escape vector. "Sometimes the best solution is the impossible one." The last enemy ship retreated, vanishing into FTL. Maya sagged in her chair, exhaustion catching up with her. "Think they'll be back?" "Undoubtedly." Krith's mental voice had lost its earlier disdain, replaced by something closer to respect. "But they'll be more cautious now. You've accomplished something no other species has managed in millions of years." "Just another day at the office," Maya quipped, running damage assessments. "Though I have to admit, we make a decent team." Krith's form pulsed with what might have been amusement. Perhaps there is something to be said for human chaos after all. The moment was interrupted by a series of urgent alerts. Maya's expression hardened as she read the damage reports. "We've got problems. That little maneuver fried our main drive. We're going to need repairs." "The nearest safe harbor is the Nexus Trading Station," Krith suggested. "Though I must warn you, it's not exactly aligned with Earth Defense Force regulations." Maya smiled grimly. "Neither was that fight. Plot a course. And while we're traveling, you can explain exactly what those ships were, and why they're so determined to stop us." Krith's form dimmed slightly. "The knowledge you seek, it may change how you view the universe. Are you prepared for that?" "After what I just saw, try me." As the Starweaver limped through space, Grith began to speak, sharing secrets that had been hidden from humanity for millennia. Maya listened, her world expanding with each revelation, while in the darkness behind them, ancient forces regrouped and planned their next attack. The Nexus trading station appeared in their viewport 12 hours later, a sprawling collection of habitats and docking bays cobbled together from salvaged ships and stations. Maya guided their damaged vessel toward an inconspicuous berth, trying to ignore the illegal weapons exchanges and questionable transactions visible through nearby viewports. "Your heart rate has elevated," Grith observed. "You're uncomfortable here." "Just calculating odds," Maya replied, securing their docking clamps. "This place is a powder keg. One spark and—" "An apt metaphor," Grith interrupted, "because I believe we're about to provide that spark." Maya followed Grith's gaze to a group of heavily armed figures approaching their airlock. Their armor bore the insignia of the Crimson Cartel, the most notorious criminal organization in 3 galaxies. "Friends of yours?" Maya asked, already reaching for her pulse rifle. "Quite the opposite." Grith's mental voice was grim. "They're here to collect the bounty on both our heads." Maya chambered around. "Both. The Void Harbingers are not without resources. They've made our capture a very profitable venture." "How profitable?" "Enough to buy a small solar system." Maya checked her weapons charge. "Well, that's flattering. Any other surprises I should know about?" Grith's crystalline surface rippled. "Several. But perhaps we should focus on surviving the immediate threat." The airlock cycled, and Maya took up position behind a bulkhead, one thing at a time, ready to embrace some more human chaos. "I'm beginning to understand why your species has survived this long," Grith replied, its form beginning to glow with combat energy. The airlock opened, and all hell broke loose. The heart of the storm. The firefight in the airlock lasted exactly 37 seconds. Maya would later reflect that it was the most efficient display of partnership she'd ever experienced. While she provided covering fire, Grith's crystalline form channeled energy into precise beams, disabling their attackers' weapons with surgical precision. "You know," Maya said, securing the last unconscious Cartel member, "for someone who claimed to despise human violence, you're pretty good at combat." "I never claimed to despise violence," Grith corrected, its facets dimming as it powered down. "Merely its unnecessary application. Your species tends to use it as a first resort," says the being who just turned 3 plasma rifles into modern art. "A necessary application." Grith moved to the ship's viewport, its form reflecting the chaotic sprawl of the Nexus station. "But we cannot linger here. The cartel will send more hunters." Maya checked their ship's diagnostics. "The main drive still needs at least 6 hours of repairs, unless you've got a better idea." "I do." Grith's mental voice took on an odd tone. "But you won't like it. Try me. There is a shortcut through the Quantum Nebula." Maya's blood ran cold. The Quantum Nebula was legendary among spacefarers, a vast cloud of particles existing in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Ships that entered rarely emerged, and those that did often carried crews driven mad by temporal paradoxes. "You're right," she said. "I don't like it. The nebula is not what your species believes it to be." Grith's form pulsed with urgent patterns. "It is a creation of my people, from before we chose our crystalline forms. A network of quantum highways, dangerous to most, but navigable to one of my kind." Maya studied her companion carefully. "And you're just now mentioning this because entering the nebula will create a quantum bond between us. You will see into the heart of my being, and I into yours. Such intimacy." Grith's form flickered. "It is not undertaken lightly. But we don't have a choice, do we?" "There are always choices, Commander Chen. This one simply offers the highest probability of survival." Maya ran a hand through her short black hair, considering their options. The cartel would return in force, and the Void Harbingers couldn't be far behind. "How long would we be in there?" "Time behaves. differently in the nebula. What might feel like hours to us could be seconds or days in normal space. Perfect, Maya muttered. She moved to the pilot's seat, plotting a course. Any other warnings I should know about? Only that once we begin, we must complete the journey. A partial quantum bond can shatter both minds involved. You really know how to show a girl a good time. Mina's fingers danced across the controls, bringing their damaged engines online. Ready? A curious human trait, Krith observed, using humor to mask fear. Not masking anything, Maya replied as they broke away from the station. Just accepting that my life got weird the moment you walked into it. The quantum nebula loomed before them, a shifting curtain of impossibility that seemed to exist in every color simultaneously. As they approached, Maya felt a strange resonance building between herself and Krith, like the first notes of a symphony. Last chance to back out, she offered. I trust you, Maya Chen, Krith said, using her first name for the first time. Your chaos complements my order. Together, we might actually survive this. Maya smiled and engaged the engines. High praise from someone who's lived for millions of years. Not praise, Krith corrected as they crossed the nebula's boundary. Truth. Reality fractured around them. Maya experienced everything at once. She was a child looking up at Earth's stars, a cadet in her first space battle, a commander making impossible decisions. But mixed with her memories were others. The birth of stars, the rise and fall of civilizations, the moment when beings of pure energy chose to become living crystal. She saw Krith's truth, not an ambassador, but a guardian. The crystalline collective had created the quantum nebula as a prison for something ancient and terrible. Something the Void Harbingers served, something that was waking up. Now you understand. Krith's voice echoed through her consciousness. Why we chose humanity. You are young, untested, but you possess something we lost eons ago. Through the quantum bond, Maya felt Krith's admission. Hope. The nebula twisted around them, showing possible futures like fractured mirrors. In some, Earth burned. In others, the galaxy fell into eternal darkness. But in a precious few, there was light. Humanity and the collective standing together against the coming storm. The council meeting. Maya realized, her thoughts merging with Krith's. It's not about an alliance. It's a warning. Yes, but the Harbingers cannot know we've discovered their true purpose. They believe they serve ancient gods. The truth would shatter their resolve. Maya processed this as multiple timelines swirled through her mind. So we're still playing diplomatic games while preparing for war. As your Shakespeare wrote, all the world's a stage. You've read Shakespeare. I've read everything humanity has written. Your stories. They remind us of who we used to be, before we chose certainty over possibility. The nebula began to thin, reality reasserting itself. But the quantum bond remained, a subtle resonance between human and crystal. That's not going away, is it? Maya asked as normal space appeared ahead. No, we are connected now, in ways few beings have ever experienced. Maya checked their position, relief flooding through her as she realized they'd bypassed 3 sectors of space. Well, partner, I hope you're ready for more human chaos, because we've got company. Ahead of them, an entire fleet of Void Harbinger ships hung in space, their ancient hulls drinking in starlight. Krith's presence in her mind radiated grim determination. They cannot be allowed to reach the council before us. Agreed. Maya's hands found their familiar position on the controls. Any ideas? Several. All of them impossible. Perfect. Maya grinned. Those are my favorite kind. Betrayal's sharp edge. The Void Harbinger fleet filled the viewport like a wall of darkness. Through their quantum bond, Maya felt Krith's ancient memories of these ships, laying waste to entire civilizations. 14 ships, Maya noted, her tactical display highlighting weak points that probably hadn't existed when these vessels were new. Any chance they're here for peaceful negotiations? Their weapons are charging, Krith replied dryly. I suspect their diplomatic overtures will be somewhat aggressive. Maya's fingers flew across the controls, plotting multiple escape vectors. We could try the nebula again. Too unstable. A second crossing so soon would tear us apart. A transmission cut through their discussion, making Maya's blood run cold. Commander Chen, Admiral Harrison's voice filled the bridge. Stand down and prepare to be boarded. Maya's shock resonated through the quantum bond. Admiral, what are you? The Admiral has been enlightened. A new voice interrupted, ancient, terrible, speaking directly into their minds. As all will be enlightened when the old ones return. Krith's crystalline form dimmed. The Harbinger Prime. We thought your consciousness was sealed away eons ago. Your prison grew weak, Crystal One, as your species grew weak. Choosing form over freedom, order over power. Maya's tactical display updated as a massive ship emerged from hyperspace. Earth Defense Force design, but corrupted, its hull crawling with impossible geometries. The Perseus, she whispered. Our new flagship. Admiral, what have you done? I've secured humanity's place in the new order, Harrison replied. The Harbingers showed me the truth. The crystalline collective has been holding us back, preventing us from achieving our true potential. Through their bond, Maya felt Krith's bitter acknowledgement. We should have seen this coming. The Harbingers always see corruption before their final assault. Maya's mind raced through options, each more desperate than the last. The Perseus's weapons alone could vaporize them, combined with the Harbinger fleet. You're unusually quiet, Krith observed. I can feel you thinking, but not what you're thinking, because you're not going to like it. Maya initiated a series of commands, routing power in ways the ship's designers never intended. Remember what you said about humanity embracing chaos. Maya. The Perseus uses quantum fold technology, experimental stuff based on salvaged Harbinger tech. If we can destabilize their drive, the resulting cascade would tear apart spacetime in this entire sector, Krith finished. Along with us. Unless we time it perfectly. Maya's hands were steady on the controls. I need you to trust me. Through their bond, she felt Krith's millennia of experience warring with newfound faith in human instinct. What do you need? Channel your energy into the weapons array. When I give the signal, hit the Perseus's starboard engine with everything you've got. Commander Chen. Harrison's voice carried a note of warning. Don't be a hero. The old ones cannot be stopped. They were here before life crawled from the oceans, and they'll be here long after. Maya cut the transmission. Ready to make some history, partner? In my experience, Krith replied. Its form blazing with gathered energy. Humans are distressingly good at that. The Starweaver shot forward, threading through plasma bolts and energy beams. Maya pushed the engines past their safety limits, using their damaged state to create an erratic flight pattern no targeting computer could predict. Their formation is adapting, Krith warned. Let them adapt. Maya's voice was steel. We just need one shot. The Perseus loomed before them, its corrupted hull seeming to bend reality. Maya felt the weight of history pressing down, humanity's future balancing on this moment. Now, she commanded. Krith released its gathered energy through the weapons array, combining crystalline power with human technology. The beam struck the Perseus's engine just as it prepared to jump to hyperspace. Time seemed to stop. Maya saw everything in perfect clarity. The quantum fold drive destabilizing, reality fracturing around the massive ship, the Harbinger fleet moving to intercept. Hold on to something, she muttered, engaging their own damaged drive. The universe exploded. When Maya regained consciousness, her first sensation was Krith's presence in her mind. Worried, relieved, impressed. Did we win? She managed to ask. Define win, Krith replied. We're alive, which defies several laws of physics. The Perseus and 3 Harbinger ships were destroyed. The others retreated. Harrison. Unknown, but the Harbinger Prime's presence is gone from this sector of space. Maya checked their status. The Starweaver was barely operational, its hull held together by emergency fields and what she suspected was Krith's crystalline energy. "We're still 2 jumps from the Council," she noted. "Any chance we'll make it. The remaining Harbinger ships will regroup. They'll throw everything they have at us to prevent that meeting." "So, Tuesday then." Krith's mental tone carried genuine amusement. "Your species' ability to face apocalyptic odds with humor remains baffling," says the living crystal who just helped me punch a hole in space-time. "A fair point." Krith's form shifted, extending crystalline structures to help repair crucial systems. "Though I suspect our next encounter will make that look like a minor skirmish." Maya nodded, plotting their course to the Council. "Then we better make it count." When stars align. The Galactic Council chamber was ancient even by Krith's standards. A massive sphere suspended in space, its crystalline walls containing the accumulated knowledge of 1,000 civilizations. As the damaged Starweaver limped toward it, Maya felt her companion's growing tension through their quantum bond. "Having second thoughts?" she asked, nursing their failing engines along. "The Council has not convened a full session in 10,000 years, Krith replied. "Many will not wish to hear our warning. More will refuse to believe Harrison's betrayal signals a larger threat. Then we'll make them believe." Maya checked their sensors for the 100th time, expecting Harbinger ships to appear any moment. "Though I'm more worried about us surviving long enough to deliver the warning." As if summoned by her words, space twisted around them. The remaining Harbinger fleet emerged from hyperspace, led by a vessel that dwarfed all others. Its hull writhed with impossible geometries, reality itself seeming to crack around it. The Harbinger Prime survived. Krith's mental voice was tight with concern. "And it has taken physical form." "Commander Chen." Harrison's voice echoed through their minds, but it was different now. A chorus of ancient voices speaking in unison. "Did you think we would allow you to undo eons of preparation?" Through their bond, Maya felt Krith's recognition. The old ones. They're speaking through him. The massive ship opened like a blooming flower of darkness, revealing a core of swirling energy that hurt Maya's eyes to look at. "Your species had such potential," the voices continued, "but you chose to squander it on independence, free will, chaos. Pretty sure those are features, not bugs," Maya replied, her hand steady on the controls. "Krith, how long until the Council acknowledges our emergency signal?" 2 minutes, but we need to be much closer." Maya studied their tactical display, mind racing through scenarios. The Harbinger ships had them surrounded, their weapons charged. The Council chamber was heavily shielded, but reaching it meant running a gauntlet of concentrated fire. Then she saw it, a possibility so absurd it just might work. "Krith," she said slowly, "remember how you said my chaos complements your order? I'm not going to like this, am I?" Maya grinned. The Harbinger Prime ship, it's generating quantum instabilities, like a larger version of what we did to the Perseus. Through their bond, she felt Krith grasp her plan. If we could destabilize it further, but the energy required would destroy us both. Unless we use the Council chamber's shields to contain the reaction. Maya's fingers flew across the controls, making calculations. We'd only get one shot. The timing would have to be perfect. Krith's form pulsed with nervous energy. "A microsecond too early or late. Then it's a good thing you've got a human pilot." Maya engaged their remaining engines, ready to make the impossible possible. Krith's response came not in words but in feeling. Trust, determination, and something deeper that transcended species and time. The Starweaver shot forward, diving straight toward the Harbinger Prime ship. Energy beams lanced around them as Maya wove through the enemy formation, pushing their damaged vessel past its limits. "Your defiance is meaningless," the chorus of voices boomed. "We are eternal. We are inevitable." "Maybe," Maya replied, her voice steel. "But humanity specializes in beating the odds." At her mark, Krith channeled every ounce of crystalline energy into their weapons, while Maya initiated a feedback loop in their quantum drive. The combination of energies shot toward the Harbinger Prime's core just as they reached the Council Chamber's shield perimeter. Time stretched like taffy. Maya saw everything with perfect clarity. The beam striking the ancient ship's heart, reality fracturing around them, the shield bubble expanding to contain the quantum cascade. Through their bond, she felt Karith's consciousness entwined with hers, order and chaos dancing in perfect harmony. The universe held its breath. Then everything exploded. When Maya opened her eyes, she was floating in the council chamber, surrounded by beings of every conceivable form. Karith hovered beside her, its crystalline structure somehow both familiar and alien in this august setting. The Harbinger Prime, she asked through their bond. Destroyed, along with its fleet, the quantum reaction collapsed their higher dimensional matrices. They cannot return to this reality. Maya nodded, taking in the assembled council members. Think they'll believe us now? They'll have to. Karith's mental voice carried both triumph and concern. The threat is ended, but Harrison's betrayal proves humanity's vulnerability to corruption. Or maybe it proves something else, Maya suggested. One human was corrupted, yes, but another helped save reality itself. We're not perfect, Karith. We're just human. Sometimes that means betrayal, but it also means believing in the impossible. Through their bond, she felt Karith's understanding, not just of her words, but of humanity's true strength. Not their technology or their weapons, but their ability to face cosmic horror with hope and determination. The council is ready to hear us, Karith announced as the chamber fell silent. Maya straightened her uniform, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. Then let's tell them a story about chaos and order, about crystalline beings and impossibly stubborn humans, and about how sometimes the best way to save the universe is to break all the rules. Karith's form shimmered with what might have been laughter. Just another day at the office. With you? Maya smiled. Always. As they moved forward to address the council, their quantum bond hummed with shared purpose. They had faced extinction and emerged stronger. Whatever came next, they would face it together, crystal and human, order and chaos, an impossible partnership that had saved reality itself. And somewhere in the vast darkness between galaxies, a new story was beginning. The end.